Hello. Fancy meeting you here. Ooh. I forgot to close my door again. And I forgot to turn my lights on, apparently. 1 second. Ignore the fact that my belt is undone. It's just, you know, it was too tight, so I wanted to undo it, so I was not in pain during this stream. Ah! I don't want to be in pain anytime. 1 sec. Just got a message. Okay, so how it... Excuse me? What the fuck? So, how you guys doing, anyway? I'm doing pretty fine. We are, this time, streaming some Stanley Parable, as you can see. The Ultra Deluxe. When did this come out? When did this come out? 1 second. When did this come out? It came out 7 days ago? It came out on the 27th of April. And I've only just gotten the chance to play it now. Which is annoying, but hey. You know, things happen and all that. And I hate those whispers. It makes it seem very office-like, but yes. No. No! Anyway, let's begin the game. So, I have not actually played any of this yet, so... I have watched other people play the original, but I haven't never played it myself.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Mm-hmm.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Sounds like Stanley was brainwashed.
One day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
I stepped out of my office.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Yep, not a trace of a co-worker.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
The door on my left.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Whole class.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Less. Smile more. Don't let them know what you're against or what you're for. Okay, so let's continue that. Ooh, hello, my friend. A broom closet.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track. There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet.
I believe you.
No reason to still be here.
I believe you. I can crouch. Sweet. This is a very dirty mop bucket.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way.
I'm sorry, but this is just a great place.
He's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
This leads to one of my favorite endings.
Are you really still in the broom closet?
Yeah.
Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
It's the best ending.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance.
Yeah, that's what you want
me
to think. That's what you want me to think.
Freaking idiot. I thought to mention it. Maybe to you this is somehow its own branch path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning.
My friends would never find that concerning. I do way too much that's even worse.
Stanley was fat and ugly and really
Oi! No name calling.
Because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is.
No!
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
No, I'm not. I'm not addicted to freaking drugs and hookers. I haven't even touched a hooker in my life.
Conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on
He thinks I'm dead.
Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby?
I'm wearing headphones,
the person
bro.
At this computer is dead.
I'm wearing headphones.
They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway. Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you. You too. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Oh, I love this game. So.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
From now on, I think I'll just listen to him. Ooh, damn, this place is fancy. The executive bathroom. Whoa. To be rich, is it a crime? To commit crimes, isn't it rich? What a life it would be to have to pick just one. I got my first achievement.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
This looks cool.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Jeez. Wait, I can go back up?
Whoops. Nope. Never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out.
I don't know why I did it either. Maybe I just like pressing buttons, alright? Man, this place.
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have. An incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow. I'm bolted to the edge of my seat.
Oh, man. I love that you said that, because I'm gonna go right back down now.
Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this?
Jeez, you're gonna make me spit Coke all over my keyboard. Jeez.
Did you think we were going to go forward down the spooky corridor? No. It's time once again to go back up in the elevator. I can't even begin to grapple with what might be up there. Is it the boss's office again? Or what if it's the boss's office this time? The suspense is killing me.
Oh my god, look, it's the boss's office. Whoa.
Oh my god, it's the boss's office.
That musical cue!
This absolutely changes everything for me. Give me a time out here for a minute while I process this.
Nice brief intermission. Go get your snacks, quickly.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm prepared to embrace this stunning revelation and to move forward with... No, wait. No, I need more time to process.
Yeah, go get you guys, go get your snacks and that. It's probably gonna take another 5 minutes for him to process, so, you know, you'll be fine.
All right. I have fully come to terms with it. I have made space in my worldview for this astonishing new reality. As before, I turn to your expert eye for gripping narrative, Master Stanley.
No problem, my guy. I am a DM after all.
Going back down
I am a
the
dungeon
elevator.
master
How
for
did I not
Dungeons and
anticipate
Dragons.
it? I mean, sure, now it's obvious, but you have to understand that 30 seconds ago, this kind of thing had never been attempted before. I had no frame of reference to even anticipate it. That's just how revelatory Stanley's decision-making is. A breath of fresh air in a landscape of storytelling that has grown stale and repetitive.
Man, to be honest, if my players ever did this in D&D, I would be freaking annoyed. If they just kept going up and down an elevator. He's not even gonna speak this time.
You know what? I just thought of something. Hold on, let's stop for a minute. Don't you realize? It's the anticipation, Stanley. You and I, we have no way of knowing what will be at the top of this elevator.
I know.
But the suspense, the agony of waiting,
yeah.
anticipating, and having to guess, that's the real thrill. Oh, I simply don't want to let that feeling go. It's so precious, so fleeting. Why don't we take this elevator ride nice and slow?
That sounds like a good thing to me.
There we go. Isn't this so much more exciting? You know, Stanley, it seems like nowadays the only thing that audiences want is to be shocked as loudly and frequently as possible. They want big, explosive moments flung right in their faces from the very moment that things get started. But where's the tension? Where's the trust in the audience to build a slow and nuanced appreciation for the story, the characters? Why aren't we given time to imagine the surprises? To have to think and to anticipate and then to marvel at the eventual reveal. This is storytelling, Stanley. What you and I are doing right now. This is the most exciting narrative to be developed in years. And it's really all because of you. You're the one who took this bold step of revisiting the exact same locations over and over. Truly, I mean it. This is unique and different. It's not like anything else out there. You see, I want stories that surprise me, Stanley. I want to have to think. I want to be engaged and not pandered to. We're being fed such unimaginative drivel all the time, and we all know it, which is why we're so starved for content that makes us feel sharp and vital and alive. That's why people like you so much, Stanley. Because you're not afraid to spit in the face of tradition. You're a role model, you know.
I like spitting in
People
everyone's
look up to
face.
you. Which is why, though I didn't know when to spring this on you, but, well, I've gathered a little press conference for you, so that you can talk about your work and your storytelling and your life. Yes, I know you're not much for the public eye, but I thought it would especially mean a lot to the people who have been following you from the beginning. They really look up to you, Stanley. I don't know if you realize the impact you have on them. This is the kind of gesture that might leave a tremendous impact on them for the better. Oh, good, we're here.
This place looks nice.
Okay, the room where we're holding the press conference should be just around the corner here somewhere.
I'm not wearing clothes, am I?
Ah, yes, here it is, just through this door. All right, are you ready? I've told them you're going to speak a little bit about the nature of surprise in storytelling and what it means to craft a truly unpredictable narrative. Oh, don't worry, you'll do great. Just be yourself and speak from the heart.
The dude who came up with pizza.
I'm really proud of you, Stanley. Okay, it looks like they're ready for you. Go get them.
Now this is what I wanted for years. For people to be cheering my name.
All of his co-workers were gone. What
What
could
could that mean?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet? Then in that case we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different?
Yes.
Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now, I've built up the other option so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
I'm gonna have to try the other option, of course.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Yeah, I'm sick of many gags.
Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want, like right now. You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain.
You play guitar, bro?
There once was a man named Stanley, who people considered so
This is so dumb.
But the truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton. He did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function. Which is why he is in this parable, and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong, and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable.
Yes.
You too will become quite unbearable.
That was actually a pretty nice song, not gonna lie. Loved it. Got anything else for me? Narrator? I don't think he's got any more lyrics. I think he's just strumming. I think it's time to restart. Okay, so we've done that option.
All of his
now,
co-workers were gone.
let's actually
What
listen
could it
to what he
mean?
says.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
The left door.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy.
I know.
So he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music.
Ooh. Ooh, baby. Wow, this is actually pretty nice. I can just relax to this for days.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated,
Let's go.
Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Let's go. I'm not calm. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that with the elevator this time. I'm just going to go down, go into the facility, and listen to my narraty boy.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Oh, I always have strength. I'm just as powerful as Thor, the strongest Avenger. I couldn't
Now
even
the
get through that
monitors
without
jumped to
laughing.
life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers.
That's
The
427.
lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Oh, that's me. I want to see where the camera is. Oh, it's behind me. Yeah. It's behind me when I'm in my office.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Most likely.
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
There we go. Turned off the mind control facility.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
Probably not.
Yes. He had won.
Woo!
He had defeated the machine. Unshackled himself from someone else's command.
Have I defeated the
Freedom
Hun?
was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand,
Ooh, a house.
but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Beat the game. We beat it, lads. Okay, that is enough for this stream. We beat the game. Nah.
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
What? What? Someone's following me? Ah! For a second there, I thought that said, I hate oats. New content. New content.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
I don't know. It means content that's new, I guess?
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers.
Yep.
After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers.
Oh, it's
The
on
Stanley
console.
Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
Same.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure. Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
It's taking a while.
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if them... Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
I will, narrator. Don't you worry.
All right.
The jump circle.
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Man, this is the best game ever. You can actually jump. Oh my. Whoa, I can't jump anymore.
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
Yeah, there has to be.
Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could counter 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And if... Oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it.
Cool.
I'm ready for whatever it is.
Oh.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this?
Is that really an achievement?
I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
One sec, I just want to check if that's actually an achievement. Yeah, test achievement, please ignore. Test achievement description, replace this. What? What? One of the achievements is play the Stanley Parable for the entire duration of a Tuesday. What? Click on door 430 5 times. Speed run. So complete Stanley Parable in under 4 minutes 22 seconds, not including load times. Oh Jesus! I could do that. Settings World Champion. Set all setting sliders in the menu to all available numbers. Super go outside. Don't play the Stanley Parable for 10 years. What the fuck? I guess that means the original one. Wait, what? The hell's going on here?
Psst. Stanley! Come over here, in the vent. I want to show you something.
What? What's going on, narrator? Narrator?
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past, and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look.
Okay, this does look pretty cool. Oh,
I
damn.
call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release?
Steam page.
Remember back in October of 2013 when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
Audience. Oh, that's the Last of Us award. They've just put a sticker of Stanley Parable on. Like the game on Steam. Oh, they're using Firefox? Jeez. Trip down memory lane. Simple because it happened. Why is there a framed $1? Oh, demonstration. Go outside. Don't play for 5 years. Unachievable. It is impossible to get this achievement. Nominee. Los Angeles Times. Stanley Parable deals tough choices. And it is a game of like really tough choices.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism. 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
That's kind of true. You're on title screen. Person of the... Smelly fish button. Stanley Parable Collector's Edition. Oh, it comes with a tie? Damn, wish I bought that.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games, and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone. To spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
Carpet texture. Where am I supposed to be going to now? The serious room? I want to go in the serious room. I mean, the serious room.
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Not really, if I remember rightly. Oh, here's a good one.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Can't read those. Oh, another one.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
Yeah, it was a great game.
What's this one got to say?
Well, they have an image of a
stop
penguin.
doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
Oh. I don't think that's a good idea.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you with... Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verb. Well, there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. Oh, I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this, and whether they'll edit the rating of their Steam review, or at least... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not unendurable by any means, but it's... Well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know, it's shocking, isn't it? But at any rate, I do suggest that we not press the button again.
I'm sorry,
Stanley! Stanley!
What?
Stanley, please
What's
don't
wrong?
push the button again. It's been 12 hours.
Whoa!
You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer. And my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone.
Oh,
it's
jeez.
completely gone. I've looked at it from every angle. Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single...
How long has it been?
Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time, I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only...
Narrator? Pretty sure it's fine.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition.
What?
But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed it.
Jesus.
The end is never the end, 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 is never the...
Man, this narrative is starting to really bother me. Whoa, that is some damage. I know it's a theory that this is part of the same place that does the portal gun tests and that from Portal. But it definitely looks like it, like the ceiling, when it's all broken and that. Whoa, vegetation! I do love me some veggies. I'm gonna be so happy when I've gone through this so much that humans don't even exist anymore. Because, you know, humans are annoying. I mean, all they do is chat. Like, jeez, I want my space. Whoa. Whoa. Holy crap. I'm guessing the skip button, because it's like that now, no longer works. This music for some reason reminds me of Heroes. So any way that looks like it goes towards civilization. Oh, out I go, on my own.
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken. No, the orders were still missing. For now.
Yes, the orders are still missing. Whoa, new content.
Oh good, you notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Cool. I do love exciting new content. Maybe we can get some exciting nuke content. That would be fun.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this Ultra Deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this Ultra Deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Oh, damn. Stanley Parable 2.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
Damn. Can't wait.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
I can't wait for Stanley Parable 3.
I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I don't really know, I haven't created games.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Hear your name in the game.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim watching your dreams crumble into dust. Do you feel it deeply? Are you really, truly Jim right now? If so, then please step forward and press the button.
Jim.
Yes! You see? What a thrill! What a rush! That was you! The button described you. Do it again. Do it again.
Jim.
Oh, it hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
Jim.
Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can be too much Jim. I'm putting the Jim button away. Otherwise, soon you'll start to lose all sense of who you actually are.
Jim.
No! I want to be Jim. Jim has it so much easier. He has a cult. Jesus. I mean, Jim.
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
Please no screenshots.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with? You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Get Well Someday it is.
God damn it. Freaking ass.
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
What? free new plus easy achievement. A new achievement? Pull the lever and receive your achievement.
Now here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes, you see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that. Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Give me the achievement! I want the achievement. Give it! There must be a way to get the achievement. There must be. Aww. No one is an achievement.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Ooh, the jump circle. Oh, but I have no jumps remaining.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's a... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle? Oh, well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece, then.
Oh. I wanted to jump. God damn it. Oh, there's merch? Wait, the reassurance bucket. I always love a good bucket.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well,
one of my
I'm
friends
happy
is
to
playing
say
for
that after
Honor.
much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps...
Open the case, give me the bucket!
You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes,
Give me the bucket!
The bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
What?
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person.
Thank you.
The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Yeah, seems pretty awesome.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
Sounds weird. Did you bring back the button that says Jim? Because I really want to say it. I really want to hear Jim. Or have you just completely taken it away? You've taken it away. You monster! You took away my one chance to be Jim. I wanted to be Jim Pickens all my life. That'd be hilarious to just send that as a video to Call Me Kevin. For no reason.
Fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Wait, there's an infinite hole? Huh. I think I'll go for that later. First, I want to see about the collectibles. Wow.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them.
What?
I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on.
Woo!
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Yeah, because that's definitely not how collectibles are supposed to work.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is in fact a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
Cool.
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so.
Yeah, it's fun.
Since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward. Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel.
Yeah?
Okay, and I guess we're back in the hole now. Did you really need to see it again? I don't know what else there is to say, Stanley. It's an infinite hole. It's
You sure?
exactly what you're doing right now, but forever. There really are so many other fascinating exhibits that I prepared for you. I really spent quite a lot of time on all this, and I would very much like to show you some more of them. How about we go ahead and press that teleport button again so we can get back to what's really important about... Oh, goodness. Well, this is rather embarrassing, Stanley. I'll be honest with you. I truly did not believe that anyone would actually stay in the hole long enough to hit the bottom. Yes, I know, I told you the hole was infinite, but come on. Who actually wants to fall forever? The hole was plenty deep. It was more than deep enough, in my opinion. Maybe it's you who likes falling too much. Maybe you're the problem.
Geez, how dare you say I'm the
Things got a
problem?
little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't
I didn't
we
say
just
anything.
put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready. Oh, for heaven... You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the
I'm
end of time.
bisexual.
Don't
What do
need
you
to see it
think
all,
I would
not you.
do?
Oh,
I like
no,
going
no,
into
no.
holes.
You're weird, sort of.
No matter what kind of hole it is.
Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly,
Somebody smoke a
I
load of
didn't make
fags
an
down there,
infinite
or,
hole,
like,
but I didn't think it was
chuck
that
'em in the
not
hole.
infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing that... Wow.
Huh?
Okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability and marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter.
Okay.
Well, there it is. The shame of my... How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on. Is the, teleport button not working?
Nope.
You sure? Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again. Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley.
What?
You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
I'm gonna have to restart the game.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I think I have to go back to that area. So I don't seem to have the bucket here. Because if I remember from watching someone else with the bucket, they were able to, they found it here. Oh, I have to go again.
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Yeah, I know. I know. You love me.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this Ultra Deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this Ultra Deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
How 2 is it anyway? Like, could it be any more 2?
You see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
I can try the button again.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and valid. Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you
Technically,
to
I
imagine
could be
yourself
called Jim,
living as Jim,
because
sleeping
James
and waking
is
as Jim,
one of my middle names.
falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim, watching your dreams crumble into dust.
If anyone calls me
Do you
Jimmy,
feel
I'll
it
kill
deeply?
them.
Are you really, truly Jim right now? If so, then please step forward and press the button.
I'm wondering what will happen if I just wait. No?
Yes, you see? What a thrill, what a rush. That was you. The button described you. Do it again, do it again.
Jim.
Ooh, it hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the gym button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
Jim.
Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can be too much, Jim.
Jim.
I'm putting the gym button away.
Jim.
Otherwise,
Jim.
soon you'll
Jim.
start to lose
Jim.
all sense
Jim.
of who you
Jim.
actually
Jim.
are.
Jim.
Jim, 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 Jim. So I need to get the bucket.
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
Well, I'd still be able to play it since I can be called Jim. Where's the bucket again? Need the bucket. I can't live without my bucket. Where is my bucket? Oh, there it is. Bucket!
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless
I hate that
despair
I have
in
to do
those
this
who
again
played it.
because I
Well,
didn't like the
I'm
Naga.
happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game.
And what
It's
is
the
that?
Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see,
Bucky.
Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try. Can you feel it? The glow of
Yes.
comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it
I don't have
has
any
made you the
buckets in real
slightest
life.
bit more
I mean, if I
attractive
did,
as
I'd
a
get a
person.
bucket, see if it increases how
The
attractive
benefits
I
of the
look to
bucket
you
seem to
guys.
go on and on, don't they? All this and more.
Does this increase my attractiveness? I mean, it's a bottle, but does I probably won't. It's cheap.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already. Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Oh, there's an exit.
All right, have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience.
Okay.
Okay, are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2. Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2." Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Stanley Parable 2. We're no longer playing Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, we're playing Stanley Parable 2.
This is the story. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley picked up the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Yes, bucket.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now.
No, it doesn't.
It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh, no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends? That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner?
This bucket and I are best friends.
Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point.
I will.
Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it.
I have been with this bucket since I was 3, and it has always been by my side while I have been depressed and stressed.
I got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go. There. Now it's settled. No more debate, no more discussion. Take a hike, broom closet.
Yeah,
with
fuck
all
you,
your
broom
meandering
closet.
philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things.
Broom closet's evil.
All right, coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Oh, shit. I got a new sticker on the bucket. I got the feeling money's for stealing, but not yours, of course. So that's a lovely purse. Oh!
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
I'll try to.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire, if not for the soothing presence of the bucket.
This bucket is helping.
Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him, always. The bucket would. And he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was
Yep,
the bucket
knows all.
Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Oh, hello.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? Or what about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
It's weird that you're calling them that, but alright. Man, I love having this bucket with me. It really makes me feel like I'm Stanley.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
I always need this bucket. Even if my target is time.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Everything will be fine, bucket. I swear. I ain't gonna let no one harm you.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well?
No!
Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble
The
mind.
bucket might be like,
No!
like
He
Bucky
screamed into
Barnes.
the bucket. He couldn't
It could have
accept
been
it.
brainwashed
His
into
own
killing
life
people.
in someone else's control. Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he
Come on,
could
bucket.
trust
We
no
can do
one
this.
except for the bucket.
The bucket is my best friend.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system. Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth.
What?
Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and...
No.
What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed?
No.
An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave.
No!
Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket.
Chuck the bucket over!
Needed the soothing warmth of the bucket. Would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No, no, no. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
About to find out what? About to find out what?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
I'm gonna go right this time.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Bucket
And
knows
here
it's
it
snow.
was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be. No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else.
That's
the
not
cargo
what the
lift,
bucket
yes.
sounds like.
Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
I'm
Good,
not cargo.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this
Buckets
obvious
can
fact.
talk.
He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
2v1.
No, stop. Look there on the wall, you see? There's a sign right there. It says, "No buckets past this point." Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
It's the only way I can go. Oh, hello, Dashy Titan. Thank you for the follow. Really appreciate it. What's in here then? Darkness. Countless darkness. Is this a...
Now then, I'm going to run you through
Oh
some
my god,
test
this is
scenarios,
hilarious.
and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin.
That's a bucket.
Item 1. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. It is a hologram.
What?
of a
How am
bucket.
I supposed to know that? How am I supposed to know it's a hologram?
Item 2. Is this a bucket?
Oh. Yes?
Incorrect. It is a
It's a-
3D printed recreation of a
Yes,
bucket.
but if it's a
not an
3D
actual
printed
bucket.
recreation of a bucket, then it is a fucking bucket!
Item 3. Is this a bucket?
Yes!
Correct. This is a bucket. Item 4. Is this a bucket?
I'm just gonna mess with the Nario and just say yes.
Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one.
Oh,
Is this a bucket?
that looks like a tractor. Which is a kind of bucket.
Correct.
Wait,
This is a bucket.
what? How is that a bucket? What the fuck?
Item 6. Is this a bucket? Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
What?
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere. Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something, and therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket? You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a
hilarious.
bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket?
It's such a...
Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all
No!
buckets from the
No,
game.
don't do this!
Okay, here we go.
No! No!
What
No!
happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything
Everything's a
disappear?
bucket.
Everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket. Oh my God, I had no idea. Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes,
What's that
I
wonderful
actually feel
news?
much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll
Hey, you
put back
fucking
all of
better.
the buckets.
I want all of my
okay?
buckets!
And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
So everything's a
I
bucket?
can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing.
The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
I am embracing Big Bucket.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
That is true.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps
Wow.
it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
No, fuel. Ah, I guess coffee is kind of fuel.
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
The bucket is never wrong.
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Yes.
Good.
Said the
I will
bucket.
listen to my
Now ride
bucket
the lift
ally.
all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Whoa!
Stanley did not question why or how
Whoa!
this bucket was speaking to him.
Hello.
It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk.
How do I get
But
down
Stanley
there?
chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Okay, I need to find out how to get to that Stanley figure at some point.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Is the dark room.
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Pick up.
Hello?
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
The bucket can speak. Where's my bucket waifu? Where am I supposed to go now? Or is this it? Oh, here. Hello, Stanley. It's me, your bucket. Press L to take me to work with you. Yes.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders.
Yes, it does.
Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
I killed those 24 people because the bucket told me to. Okay?
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me. Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
It's my bucket. I will take it with me wherever I go.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal. It's sad, but I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
You believe I'm real, don't you, Stanley? Press X to go back home.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
Press J to relive the same day with me over and over. Yes.
Oh my God, what am I saying?
Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
Go to home, to work, to home, to work, to home. The bucket is my friend.
I'm having feelings for the bucket. No. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks.
Okay,
What's wrong
now it
with me?
looks
I
like
don't
we're about to have
understand.
sex with the bucket.
If I had
I
the
think I've
bucket,
gone a
this
bit
would
too
be
far.
less confusing. Yes. The bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation. Stanley, give me the bucket. Give it
What?
to me. Give me the
No.
bucket, Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it, or I'll...
Go back to work, Stanley. Go back to work, Stanley.
Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
That was a really strange scenario. Red and blue. Ah, so where the red and blue doors are.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Nope.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these.
Yeah.
He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort.
What?
And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps.
No!
How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off
Where's
in the
my
distance
bucket?
now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me! The bucket!
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley! Find me!
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along.
What?
It was incredibly painful.
Oh no.
Stanley doubled over in agony
Oh no.
and blacked out.
Oh my god. The real bucket was inside me all along.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had lived of
course, he'd gone mad.
Yeah, he had
Ranting
no
and
bucket.
raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a
Jesus
video
Christ.
game. It could all have been
That's the-
prevented if only he'd taken his
Yeah,
bucket with
should have
him.
taken a bucket with him.
Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
This is pretty nice. It's pretty nice.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I'm sorry, but I'm not taking bucket E today. Because, actually, there is still one thing I haven't tried with the bucket that I'm gonna try.
Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Up we go.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was
Yep.
the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Of course it is. The bucket is smart. Bucket knows all. Even knows what you had for breakfast last night. And what you had for dinner last night. Which, I know, Karen, that you had
Stanley and the bucket walked straight
roast
ahead
turkey.
through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Time to go
Although
this
this
way.
passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
Nah, that's not true, Bucket. We're fine.
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
But the
At
Bucket's
this point,
telling me
Stanley
to
and
do
the
this.
bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Bucket's telling me to do this, narrator. I can't help it. The Bucket's just so persuasive. There's so much charisma.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure,
Oi, how
it
dare
puts
you
the
insult
mind
the
and
bucket
the soul at
in
ease to
such a
embrace
way.
the bucket. But what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he
No,
sort
man.
of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Oh no. Oh my god. The Bucket is saved.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end, as it was crushed violently to death.
The poor Bucket.
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket.
I know.
It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
The Bucket welcomes you to the grand exhibit. You are standing at the precipice of knowledge. Much like a bucket itself, the human mind is frequently empty within, a cavernous void. But through use of the exhibit in front of you, the mind becomes full and enriched and substantiated. Knowledge of the bucket and its history and is the only true knowledge we really have. Will you take what you learn here out with you into the world? Will you accept with an open mind what may be challenging about the information in this exhibit? Will you change the lives of yourself and your loved ones as a result of this exhibit? Or will you turn a blind eye and continue to live as you were, in ignorance and darkness? No, I'm going to tell all of my friends about the significance of this bucket. It has been with me through thick and thin.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
Shock for several weeks as a result of the euphoria from exposure to this bucket. Hi, Sergio. I love this game. I love this game so bloody much. He had a fucking catatonic shock for several weeks. Oh my god. Hello. Sorry, I was looking over here because that's where your message pops up. Oh great, Twitch needs an update on my phone. The Inferno Bucket, a replica of the Inferno Bucket, which is in the medieval era was so powerfully alluring that it drove dozens of nations to war with one another for control of it. Billions died, and yet in spite of it all, the simple fact remains, no one can control a bucket. Stress bucket. And Jesus. Damn, this is really a big bucket exhibit. A bucket with two handles. This bucket is depicted as having two handles. Such a design has never been created in real life, having been deemed too dangerous and recklessly experimental. Every year, dozens are put to death just for attempting it. Yes, dozens of people are put to death for thinking of putting second handle on bucket. Because that is insane. Oh my god, caveman images of the bucket. Cave drawing. While we know that buckets predate the existence of mankind, we do not know by how long. This cave drawing depicts early man's discovery of the practical uses of the bucket, by which time the bucket had already likely been around for several millennia. Notice in these drawings how the bucket is allowing itself to be used, having judged humanity to be worthy of its treasures. For frick's sake.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
The hanging bucket. This piece symbolizes the necessary relationship between the bucket and humanity. However, clear our grasp of the bucket may be, there is yet more that is always out of reach. This distance, inevitably, is for our own good. Woo! Oh. My bucket. My bucket.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision for...
They were very persuasive. Damn. It is almost time for me to call it quits on the stream.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go anywhere except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait.
That's
Nothing
true.
will hurt me. Nothing will
Gotta
break
wait.
me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Well, that has been the Stanley Parable. 2, actually. Damn, that, like, they came back with a sequel that was so bloody great. It had the same sort of humor in all of their new content as it did in the original, which was freaking on point. Absolutely loved it. And to be honest, I hope you loved it too, because we're going to end it here. This has been a great stream. I absolutely loved it. And I love all of you guys who have been watching. Even you, Sergio. And I hope you enjoyed the stream. If you did, make sure you leave a like. Make sure you subscribe. Click that bell to stay updated with notifications so you know when I next have a stream coming out. I do have one tomorrow, hopefully, which will be Dead by Daylight. And I think that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and you shall see me in the next stream. Bye!